Hey guys, Colbert here. Welcome back to another Watcher of Realms video. This is a little bit different video today. This is not about something in-game, but something out of the game. This will be a tier list explanation, tier list review of what we have on warcodex.com. So warcodex.com, what is that website and how does it help you as a player? So this is a website that me and a friend have created about a month ago. I'm gonna say we have a month so far. We do post some news announcements in there. We post some articles on heroes. You can totally check it out at your own time and have a look at that. We have all the heroes in the game with all their skills, all their stats, and specific tags to help you, let's say, find something such as if you're looking for a hero that has a bleed debuff, you type in bleed on the tags right there, and you'll find all the heroes that have either a bleed directly in their skills or a bleed in their awakenings. So that is also a little bit of work in progress to look at all the awakenings and adding them to the game. With that being said, this is like a full list of all the heroes. You can sort them through multiple different ways: classes, rarities, the tags, factions. We will be adding every single one of the new heroes added through the newest faction, the arbiters, very soon as they are introduced into the global servers as well. I know that the Forerunner servers have way more heroes, but none of the players that really play the game are on the Forerunner servers. It's a limited community, so we want to have what is available to everybody pretty much on the site and not cause any confusions on who's available and who is not. So we also have all the artifacts, but we need to update this a little bit because of all the name changes that they have done, and they've given me more and more headaches with the recent changes. What I wanted to show you guys is our tier list today. So our tier list is functions the same way as the hero page. You can still list all the heroes that you're looking for in terms of different skills that they might have. So let's say they have a buff skill. Anything that buffs your allies, not just let's say what's it called, invigoration? No. What does Dolores have? What is it called? I think it's called inspiration. Inspiration. Not just inspiration as a buff, which is the best buff in the game, boost your attack, but also other buffs such as, if you go back, other buffs such as let's see, if I type in buff, other buffs such as Leia's boost of damage. Twin Fiend even gives a buff of penetration when he does the focus fire effect. After that ends, he boosts I believe the Lord skill. It's part of the Lord skill boost, penetration increase, crit rate increase, crit damage increase to all allies. So that is pretty cool. So those are the buffs. So for the tier list, you can sort it however you like, but the point of the tier list here and the video today is to explain to you guys on how the tier list works and what my vision was creating the tier list. So this might be a little bit confusing at the start. So why do some heroes have a 6, a 5, a 10, which is the maximum ranking, and a 1? So gonna explain the obvious. The 10 is the best ranking that you can possibly have. The 1 is the worst ranking that you can possibly have. Why would a hero such as Abomination, as an example, get a 1 in gear rate 3 and a 10 as early? The reason that he gets 10 as early is that he provides so much to the utilization of such a legendary when you first start out, that I believe he's a true early game hero that can change an account completely in terms of providing you the things that you can complete the promotion rates much quicker. The artifact material rate helps a ton, even all the way to difficulty 18, and he can also help a lot with other areas of the game. So early, very strong, even for Void Rift, if you're trying to push through the very first difficulty of the Void Rift. For Gear Rate 3, why did I give him a 1? Or in Air Arena? Well, pretty obvious. Gear Rate 3 is ranged enemies that a melee hero, a fighter hero, unless specifically specified, such as, let's say, Arrogance. Arrogance cannot hit a target. No, Arrogance can hit a target that is flying. Abomination cannot. He just can't swing the what does he have? It's like a, I think it's like a mace that he has and hits, so he can't hit. So he gets a 1. It's pretty obvious. That drops his overall rating. Same thing with Air Arena. So anti-air arena is what it's called. For other things such as sustained DPS arena, he's very strong because he can sustain himself Although this will be removed very soon from the game completely. They will be removing sustained DPS arena. So whatever you're seeing right now will be updated when the time comes, when they do introduce, well, when they do remove the sustained DPS arena. The ratings will change a little bit since this will be completely removed, dropping the overall rating for some heroes that might have had this as higher, or increasing the rating for some heroes that might have had this as lower. But with that being said, I'm also going to add a new category here. So instead of the gear raids, the guild boss, single target arena, AoE arena, sustained DPS arena, the faction trials, which is, I mean, some heroes are very good in there, but some are extremely good. I think I will be adding a category for how much is it worth for you to fully skill up that hero. So a 10 is very much worth it, and 7 to 9 will be, it's good, but it depends on your circumstances. And 1 to 6, it's bad, but again, you can do whatever you like in terms of skilling up a hero. So how did I actually make this tier list? So I have all of this in a very cool Google Sheet, all right? So what this means is that all of the ratings that you see here, it's this, all right? When I change something here, I go back onto the site and I change it as well. When you see the overall rating and you say, okay, how does this guy get a 6.9 when you get all of these ratings as an integer? So it's not a decimal, so it's not a 1.1, it's a 1. So how did he get a 6.9 and a 6.6? I will explain to you right now. These ratings that you see are not weighted at the same way. So what does that mean? So if a hero is good in any of these 4 areas, I have given it much more of an importance to you guys so that you can value your opinion of the tier list. And when you see the tier list, it will give you, all right, this makes sense. Okay. So when a hero is good in Gear Raid 1, Gear Raid 2, Gear 3, and Guild Boss, the 4 most important areas in the game, in my opinion, I've given them more of value in terms of, oh, he gets a 10 in there. That is much more worth it. And how did I translate that? So let me zoom in a little bit right here. I'm not really used to Google Sheets, but I'll show you guys. So if you see these numbers on the top here, this is a 1.5. So a 10 in reality is like a 15, right? But I do like math on the upper side here to just make that work. So a 10 is like a 15, all right? For Gear Raid 1, Gear Raid 2, Gear Raid 3, and Guild Boss. But for single target arena, for AoE arena, I don't value arena the same way that maybe somebody else out there values arena. I don't think arena plays such an important role, especially because there's so many different tiers in arena that the experience in arena is different in there. Of course, some heroes that get a 10 in there, there's a reason that they get a 10, like Kamet, Hatsu. They're very strong in arena, especially the AoE ones. But again, the arena, you can pretty much get to Overlord at an easier pace than maybe other players would be able to get it. If you're playing every day, you're doing all your resources, you're refreshing and trying to find easier targets. Some say that there are also bots in the game, but I'm not sure how to identify them. So with that being said, they get a 0.9 in terms of a multiplier. Think of it as a multiplier. So if some hero has a 10 in single target arena, that's not a 10, that's a 9 in my calculations. And the reason for that is what I explained before. And the same thing goes for every other part of this. So I'll give you another example. Faction trials, I value them a little bit higher, but not the same way as Gear Raid 1, 2, and 3. Early game, the same way. I value it a little bit higher, but not as high as Gear Raid 1, 2, and 3. And skill ups, I value pretty much the same way I value the arena. But that I have not added yet. I will be updating it when the time comes. I just have it for my own purposes right here. And then other things such as the artifact material rate, gold XP, tide, don't value them as much. I value them the same way I value arena. You might think tide is something that you want to value more. I don't think so. It's all about BP there. So I don't value it that much. Artifact material, even I could drop it way lower because that eventually becomes as easy as the promotion rates become. So I could give it a 0.8 in terms of like a multiplier, but maybe some players out there really wanna feel like they're good heroes and they're are valuable. Void Rift I do value at a 1.25, which is like the same way I value as early game, the same way I value the faction trials. Void Rift is a very good way to get lots of resources every week, basically for free, as long as you put in the time, because you need to put in the time. So this is how my idea behind the tier list was created. I know other creators also have tier lists, with the most well known being my bucket. I don't know my bucket on how he does his own tier list. I believe he does S tier, A tier, B tier, although I think that is easier for newer players out there. You just see, oh, S, what does that mean? I try to explain it through this video just to make you guys understand on how we make our tier list. Maybe S tier is a little bit confusing, especially if you have S plus, S minus, A plus. I make it more clear with basically saying, all right, if it's a 10, is the best hero, he's the best hero to fit in that situation. He works very well. And honestly, I was thinking of it the other day. Maybe Dolores needs a 10 on everything and just call it a day, because Dolores is Dolores, right? Maybe I should actually just update that, give her a 10 everywhere, and just call it a day. Because currently I think Dolores is it's not a 10, she's an 8.4. She gets 7 as early, which I guess so. Early, if you just get Dolores, you get the attack boost. Okay, she's not a good healer, so that can be a problem. Gear rate 2, I've given her a 7 because I did use her in I think I used her in gear rate 219, but she can definitely work in 20 and 21. So this, if I update this, she'll change. AoE arena, I think I should update this to 10 on everything, really. XP and gold raid, I gotta update that as well. Void Rift, I don't use her in every stage. That is quite true. For the lower difficulties of Void Rift, where you can use up to 10 heroes, it's a little bit different. But harder difficulties require you to use lower amount of heroes, so 8 heroes. You're limited in space. Although I do use her sometimes, she's not a 10 in there, but she's close. So I think I'll be updating this a little bit just to give you guys an idea of what my thinking goes behind it. Like a 10, she's kind of user gear rate 121. Yes, 10. Absolutely 10. Gear rate 3, 21. Yes, absolutely. She boosts that Idril, does insane amount of damage. Guild boss, not a question. If I could give her 11, I would. She's just that strong. Single target arena, very strong there to boost your single target damage dealers. Air arena, I think she's okay, but because it's an activation, when I think of an activated hero, when you do auto battle, especially for arena, where sometimes the timings are different, she'll be activating the ultimate and there's no enemies because the other guy was faster and you're losing out on that ultimate. So that could affect things a little bit, but she still does very well. Artifact material raid, she could get a 10. She's a 9. She becomes a 10 if you have the right heroes, but XP and gold raid, she's good, but other heroes are much better in there, so I could give her an 8 and or a 9. So if you have like any suggestions for the tier list, we have our own Discord, guys, for the site. You'll find a link on right here. Just join us on Discord. You can click right there and join Discord, slowly growing, and give us your thoughts on the tier list. But this is pretty cool in terms of, I would say, giving you guys an idea of what these heroes do. And I will probably put a link to this video somewhere here, or add an article describing what I've just said throughout this video for maybe people out there who want to read it in an article to make a better understanding on how the tier list works. Like the highest rating overall, it belongs to Elowen, which I do think she is very strong in terms of just being a healer that not only heals for a very good amount, she's very good with rage regeneration. So Another very strong hero, Arrogance, right there. Not very strong for AoE right now. That's why he has like a 6 there, but still makes him very much more valuable than other heroes. And Hatsuit gets an 8.7. The reason that she drops so much is because of Guild Boss, and I think that is very true. Even a 5 is a little bit too much if you consider how easily she'll be replaced for Guild Boss. But she does so well in other parts, right? She even does well in Gear Raid 1 that you cannot not consider her. Artifact Material Raid, obviously not that strong. Void Rift, very strong in specific situations. Tide, yeah, of course. Speed Gold Raid, so many enemies, you gotta kill them. Faction Trials, I could give her a little bit higher, maybe an 8 or a 9. But these are always a work in progress, and will help you out. I would say if you're trying to find a specific hero that you just got, you're just trying to filter it with what you're looking for, right? I got this hero, it's a mage. What are mages good at? Usually they're good at Gear Raid 1. You filter Gear Raid 1. Where is the hero that you just got? Is he in the list right here? You can filter through classes, mage, to make it more specific. You see all the mages that are categorized for Gear Raid 1 who have a 10, and you'll see, all right, where does this Zealous fit in right here? I given him a 9. All right, wow, what are the 10s? Do I have any of the 10s? Maybe I can build that instead. So I would say individually it's a much better way than just overall ranking, because if you don't know the backstory behind how the overall rankings work, it might confuse you a little bit. But with that being said, guys, this was the video on the tier list. Thank you all so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't. Check out the site when you do have the time, and I will see you in the next one. See ya.